Okay, now I got my audio added to the live, but yeah, we're first place in the division, but our quarterback might be done. What's going on, Richard? How you feeling, man? We got an ugly one against probably the second worst team. My audio added to the live, but ignore that echo. I'm just trying to get everything going. But yeah, we got the win, but he might be out a couple weeks. Like I was hoping that we could go like get a couple wins, but I guess not. I mean, get a couple wins against Seattle. Then I think we play the Cardinals. I'm gonna be angry if he doesn't play against the Cardinals because they've been talking. They've been talking for a while now. But yeah, I mean the Cowboys, they play the 49ers, and the 49ers just beat the Rams, so that's not gonna be a gimme for the Cowboys. Just lost to Washington. The Eagles, we know they play the Seahawks tomorrow, so we don't nobody's expecting them to win that game. Yeah, Green Bay is starting. They're probably gonna blow out the Bears. Cowboys got the Ravens, the Bengals. They should win that game. 49ers, and then the Eagles and Giants. So their schedule doesn't look as easy as it did because they already lost to Washington. I guess their easy game should be like the Eagles, the Bengals, the 49ers. I don't think it's an easy game anymore because they just got healthy. What's up, word? What's going on, Tone? Yeah, I just came in here to talk about the whole thing because it's bittersweet. We got the win. I'm always happy to get a win, but he got injured. I mean, I don't think it's because he was running a lot. I think it's because he doesn't protect himself. He never slides. He never like that's a weapon for the quarterback to use to slide because that's the only thing that separates them from another runner. And he never slides. He always dives head first. And then when he tries to give himself up and do that forward kind of head first slide, that's not going to work for him. And that's how he hurt his leg. I'm just trying to figure out how we can not get Colt McCoy out there, basically. Like, do we need to sign somebody right now so they can clear waiver, like so they can clear the protocols? Because I don't want to see Colt McCoy out there again. Like, I just don't want to see it. a lot of people are writing us off saying that the Seahawks would have beat us anyway. We don't really know that, but I know one thing: Colt McCoy isn't beating the Seahawks. He looked rusty, um, so hopefully maybe a week of practice will help him. But I don't want to see him out there again, especially if Jason Garrett isn't going to tailor the offense to him because he was still running quarterback draws and stuff with Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy is built for that 49ers kind of offense, that Pat Shermer kind of offense. He's built for the West Coast. Short passes, rhythm passes. Jason Garrett's offense is a lot of short passes, but it's not a rhythm kind of offense. It's not it's not like built on all timing. It's more it's a lot different, man. So I don't know what Jason Garrett is going to do, but hopefully if Colt does play next week, because we signed him because he's been a pretty solid backup the other places he's been. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you're not a good backup here, it doesn't matter. Because I'm pretty sure McCoy on Washington, he's had a couple solid games. I think he ended up beating the Cowboys that one year. He had one season, 2014, where he had 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So I guess maybe he played like 3 games. Cleveland, he was a disappointment. His best season was 2,714 touchdowns, 11 picks. So there were rumors saying that Jason Garrett will be gone, but I don't know if he'll be gone. I know now if DJ misses the rest of the season and he doesn't tailor his offense to Colt McCoy, Jason Garrett will probably be gone. But if DJ, for some reason, if he comes back and he plays against the Seahawks and the Cardinals and he lights everybody up, they're going to keep Jason Garrett. Because as you can see, DJ in this offense is now starting to get more comfortable. I don't like the offense by design at all. I don't necessarily like the play calling either. But I think DJ is getting more comfortable because he's making a lot more pre-play audibles and he's seeing the field better. So that might be because he's a veteran. He's not necessarily a veteran yet, but it might be because he's had more experience. But it's also because he's more comfortable in the offense. Trubisky taking a shot. That's going to get picked off. But yeah, Daniel Jones, the last couple of weeks, he hasn't been turning the ball over. He hasn't had the stats, but he's been really efficient. He's been making all the throws in between the end zones. Wayne Gallman's been taking the stats. Yeah, he's been playing with a lot more confidence. Wayne Gallman's been taking his touchdowns. But other than that, he's been efficient. Today, he looked really good. He's looked the best that I've seen him look in the pocket his whole career today. He ended up getting sacked. He ended up getting hurt, but while he was in there, he really was feeling the pressure, moving around in the pocket, which is something I thought that he would never really be able to do. He looked a lot like how Josh Allen looks sometimes. They're pretty similar as far as they can both run. They're both big guys, so of course he doesn't have the same arm as Josh Allen, but that's how he's been looking so quick. Yeah, Lemieux is in there. They got him in there basically trying to take. I don't think I don't necessarily think they want him to take Will Hernandez's job because he's younger, he's cheaper. But I think they're trying to kind of get Kevin Zeitler out of there. I think Will Hernandez is still getting back into shape from COVID. Like he was out for like 2 weeks, not able to train. So I think he's still getting into shape to be able to play a whole game. Because we're gonna have to pay Zeitler a lot next year if we don't cut him. And I think they want to use that money for something else. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have Josh Allen's arm at all, but his pretty much his play style as far as him moving around in the pocket today, him running like Josh Allen does. I think Josh Allen is a little bit more agile than him in the open field, but you guys get the gist. Like both of them are big and strong and athletic. So yeah, I don't see Zeitler coming back, which is disappointing because he's a good lineman, but we're just paying him too much and we can't afford him. We're gonna have to pay Leonard Williams. They probably want to keep Dalvin Tomlinson, which I don't think we can because Dexter Lawrence is going to be coming up. He's a first round pick, and you think you're going to be paying two interior defensive linemen top dollar? I don't think we can do that. Depending on where we end up picking, I mean, pretty much wherever we pick in the first round, I think we'll have a receiver that's worthy of that pick. But there are no serious edge rushers. What's up, Giant Opinion? Yeah, there are no serious edge rushers in this draft, so I'm thinking we might attack that. I didn't even know that the entertainer was live. Yeah, I didn't even notice he was live. I just felt like going live and just jumped on here. Yeah, Parrott would have played today, but he's still on the COVID list. I think Parrott is going to be our starting right tackle next year, which is going to be great because to have gotten two starting tackles in the same draft is amazing. That's amazing. And I think he's going to start for us next year. Yeah, we got to bring back Leonard Williams, and Dalvin is going to go to another team, and he's going to be really good on that team. What's up, Dundee? What's up, Jay Ray? But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any way we pay two interior defensive linemen in the same offseason when we don't have a cornerback and we don't have an edge rusher. Uh, I don't think there's any way we do that. That's what we're trying to, it's all speculation at this point. Some people are saying, like Joe Judge say, he's optimistic he can play next week, but Joe Judge isn't a doctor and he's going to get MRIs. And then some people on Twitter, some doctors on Twitter are saying he's done for the season. I'll tell you the thing that hurt me was when we let Linval Joseph go. That hurt, man. But we're gonna have to let go a good player, and it might end up having to be it might end up being Leonard Williams if he's out of our price range, which I don't think he'll end up leaving, but I wouldn't rule that out. If some team sees the advanced metrics and Leonard Williams at this point is probably going to have double-digit sacks. Look at what Chris Jones got. Look at what Aaron Donald got. So I don't know if the Giants want to commit that kind of money because Leonard Williams has the quarterback kiss and the Harrys of Chris Jones and Aaron Donald. Yeah, Isaac Yadam has been looking better, and we also got Ryan Lewis, but I don't think either one of them are going to be long-term solutions. Yeah, I think Parrott is a tackle. I think he'll play tackle for us. He's got really long arms. He's strong. This dude on the Packers, Equinemius St. Brown, he runs like an idiot, man. Like he just continually runs to the sideline and doesn't get up the field. And he's lucked his way into 2 first downs. I think Leonard Williams is going to ask for more than 15, 16 because, like I said, if you look at the quarterback hits, look at the hurries, he's up there with Chris Jones and Aaron Donald. He's like right behind them. So if he gets the 10 sacks to go along with that, now I don't think he's getting Aaron Donald money because Aaron Donald got like 20 sacks from that position, and he's obviously the best at that position. But I think he's going to get a notch below those guys. So let's look at Chris Jones's contract. He signed a 4-year, $85 million. So he's making like 21 a year. So I expect Leonard Williams to ask for like 17, 18. And then if we're in a bidding war, that can go up. So they're going to have to try to seal him up before the offseason. I mean, before free agency starts, because him in the open field might go up to 19, 20. Because we all see it. He's a great player. Like he moves around. He gets pressures, but we obviously see he does not have the same kind of impact as Aaron Donald and Chris Jones. But the numbers say otherwise. So he has an argument. So if he goes up, then we might end up just paying Dalvin Thomas a cool 11 million and just moving forward with him and Dexter Lawrence. And if we do that, then we 100% have got to get in some kind of a pass rusher to replace that production. And it makes sense to sign him early, but at the same time, you have to get him to actually to agree to that and not want to test the open market. So they're going to have to give him something that's fair, and he's going to have to want to come back, which if DJ comes back and we fight for the playoffs and we make it, I think that'll be huge for re-signing him. He might take a little bit of a discount because he thinks that we're on the upswing. That's another reason why I kind of want us to make the playoffs, but I understand the draft pick side of it too. Yeah, I think that that's a fair number, King Tone. That's what I would want to pay him, but I think that's going to get a little bit inflated. But maybe since the salary cap is dropping, maybe he comes back down to like 15, 16. Because I think he was asking for 16 last year. So let's check out his stats. I'm pretty sure he's at let's see. He's at 6 sacks. So he's got a shot at 10. 10 is the magic number, especially coming from the interior defensive line. 10 is the magic number. If he can get to that, he's going to be considered an elite interior rusher. He's already got the numbers and pressures and hits and hurries. So we'll see how it ends up going at the end of the season. And also he's trying to get paid as a defensive end. But I think it's going to be anywhere between that 16 and 19 number. I think that's what he'll end up getting. And like I said, if it's not here, then Dalvin Tomlinson will definitely be back. But the Giants have got to bring back. See, one of the teams that can give him that is the Jets, but I doubt he wants to ever be wearing that Jets uniform again. And then with the edge rushers, this might be a year where all the edge rushers just take their franchise deals or just stay with their teams and then try to. This may be a year of 1 year deals. So these edge rushers and all of these, high value positions, they may sign these 1 year deals and then try to get the major deals next year when the cap goes up. Because I'm not seeing a dominant pass rusher in that draft. Even if we had the number 2 pick, there's no one that I feel really confident about coming in and changing our front. Yeah, there's no way I can ever see him going back to the Jets. But like I said, I don't. My problem is the edge rusher. Cornerbacks, there are cornerbacks every year that they get signed for cheap that are pretty solid. So I'm convinced that we can get a corner or draft a corner that'll be solid. But it's edge rusher. That's going to be tough. Well, we didn't really pass up Chase Young. We didn't have a shot at him. I mean, I don't ever want us to lose on purpose. Lazard wide open for a touchdown. Yeah, I think Tack. Who knows? I don't know. I think what keeps happening is that he's not able to pass his physical. So I don't know why he keeps not getting signed, but I think it's his physical. Tag McKinley, there's something going on with him. But you're gonna have Shaq Barrett, Melvin Ingram, Matt Judon. Let's see, Justin Houston. Yeah, I like how Lorenzo was playing too, but I don't consider him like someone that's really going to make a difference. We might end up paying Ryan Kerrigan on a 1 year deal, Justin Houston, one of these older players, because it seems like these older pass rushers are usually able to get pressure in their old age. Leonard Floyd is going to be a free agent. So there'll be a lot of guys out there. It just depends on if we spend all our money in the interior. Yeah, I think they'll have to end up tagging him again because a lot of people are going to be waiting for that one big deal. The thing is, we had a pretty solid guy in Marcus Golden, but for some reason, Patrick Graham didn't like him. But yeah, we'll have our shot at, like I said, a couple of guys: Leonard Floyd, Bud Dupree, and some of the older guys I mentioned. You're saying Khalil Mack. Let's see, Khalil Mack's a free agent and this offseason. I don't think Khalil Mack is a free agent unless he's going to get cut. Let's see. Maybe the season after this upcoming season, he's a free agent, but I don't see him as a free agent this upcoming off season. Yeah, corners are more important, which is why I want to get that position. Which is why I wouldn't be angry. Yeah, I wouldn't be angry if we signed the corner just because they're so important. But I think we're going to draft a corner probably in the first 3 or 4 rounds. That'll help us, and I think we'll probably sign a veteran. So I'm not worried about that corner spot, but I am worried about somebody that's really going to be able to come in and make change because our defense they're good right now, and they're a good defense, but Leonard Williams right now is not dominant enough inside. He's getting his pressures, he's getting his hits, sure, fine, but he's not getting the consistent pass rush and the clutch situations. And we don't have anybody on the outside that really is striking fear in the opponent's offenses. I think the Giants will. I wouldn't rule out the Giants taking a quarterback somewhere after the fourth round. I think they have to find somebody that is a good quarterback to spell Daniel Jones if they're going to keep on running this running quarterback kind of offense. Yeah, I'm thinking we'll have a shot at somebody like Justin Houston or Ryan Kerrigan, who are both really effective even at this age. So I think we'll have a shot to get somebody in here. It's just about if they actually do it. Like I thought we'd have a shot last year to go out and get a wide receiver in the draft, but they refused to take one in that really deep wide receiver draft because we may see needs. JoJo Finn, we don't know how long he's going to be out. Right now, we're seeing the rest of the season. We're seeing 3 weeks. We're seeing 1 week. We're seeing he's missing no games. So we'll find out tomorrow when the MRI comes back. But I think I was saying we may see needs that we think need to be helped, but the Giants they feel like they don't need those needs. Like the Giants may feel completely comfortable with what they have rushing the passer. They may be completely comfortable and not think we need to upgrade at all. They may also think that we don't need any more receivers. So yeah, I mean, as far as the receivers go, that's what I'm not sure they'll address, and I'm not sure they'll address pass rushers because those reports that came out about them thinking that they could use the New England platform. The thing is, you don't have Tom Brady, so I hope that was fake because it seemed like it was fake because it came from a source that wasn't really trustworthy. But I think we need to address the receiver position and we need to address the pass rusher position. I like a lot of the wide receivers coming out this year. Like literally, you could take any one of like 7 or 8 receivers, and I'd be perfectly fine. I would be perfectly fine with like one of 7 wide receivers at anytime you get into the teens, all of these wide receivers are fair game. Of course, Jamar Chase, I like Rashad Bateman coming out. He's 6'2", 210. Rondale Moore is a fast receiver. He's kind of short. And that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, that we can draft a wide receiver and have that available. But it's about, will they take a wide receiver? I think BJ will be okay. I think at most he'll be out like 2-3 weeks. Maybe he'll be, if he misses the season, I mean, we'll get the pick. We'll be able to get a wide receiver to help him. But yeah, we got it. We got a lot of wide receivers that are coming out that are crazy good. Devontae Smith, Justin Ross. So there's a ton of wide receivers. Jalen Waddle is coming off an injury. Chris Olave. Tate is 100% gone, and it's just about whoever they decide to replace that spot. Tate was definitely a Pat Shurmur system kind of guy. So hopefully they replace that with the Jason Garrett system kind of guy, which is a big body, fast receiver. Max, I'm assuming it's just like a hamstring pull. That would be perfect. Because if Slayton, what's going on, Vinny? If Slayton and Shepard are going to be able to stay healthy, I would say that's a nice number 2 and number 3. And I would say that's like a 2A, 2B. Because Slayton is a good number 2 on the outside, and Shep is a good number 2 as far as like an inside guy. All we really need is a serious receiving threat that's like a serious guy who needs to be double teamed or he'll kill you. We need that. That's what we're missing. My problem is Sterling Shepard, we can't really trust him to stay healthy. So if we can't trust one of them to stay healthy, then we'll end up back to square one. So I wouldn't mind adding 2 receivers, like you said. I would have loved to have Robbie Anderson this year for $10 million, but they didn't like it. I would have loved to have Chase Claypool, but they didn't want him. I would have loved to have a couple of receivers this year, but they didn't take any of them. And Slayton, I don't know if it's a drops thing as much as I mean, he had a bad drop his last game, but this year that ball was all the way on his fingertips. Yeah, that's what I was saying a little bit earlier, Cruz. We're missing a pass rusher. We need an outside guy. Leonard Williams is up there as far as metrics, but we're missing a pass rusher on the outside. I think Lorenzo Carter was good for us because teams couldn't necessarily just run to the outside against us because he was solid against the run. But Lorenzo Carter, I'll say it, I've been saying it for years. I think Lorenzo Carter is best suited at inside linebacker, running and hitting. Him beside Blake Martinez, to me, will be really effective. Like him in the middle will be really effective to me, but they're dead set on him playing outside. But in this kind of, amoeba defense, I mean, he can play all over the field. He can play all of the linebacker positions. And when they took that punt back to the 50, I was sick. I thought it was game over. I really did. Yeah, definitely hit that like button to show some more people I'm streaming. But yeah, when they brought that back to the 50-yard line, I was like, this game is over. I can't believe we just lost to the Bengals. like Colt McCoy and no Colt McCoy. Like I was sick. But we immediately, like, we didn't make it too dramatic because we immediately got the fumble. I thought it was just going to be a regular sack and it was going to be harder for him to get in the range, but it was an immediate fumble. So they wrapped that up pretty quick. First round pick. If Patrick Surtain is on the board, I'm taking him. I'm taking Patrick Surtain over any first round wide receiver. Now, I'm an LSU fan, so I would love to have Jamar Chase, but I'm taking Patrick Surtain because you got to be able to stop people. You got to be able to stop people, man. I take Surtain. I take Farley. I take either one of those people. Because to get a second corner in this defense that's good, that would be great. Like that would be really great to get a second corner that we can really trust. That has the potential to be really great across from Bradbury. That way, I mean, what if Bradbury leaves in a couple years? We only signed him to like a 3-year deal. Yeah, I would definitely take Caleb Farley first. I would take him before Surtain. But either way, I take either one of them. I really would take either one of them in this defense. Because I mean, Patrick Graham has shown you he can work with anybody. He can work with your strengths. So Surtain is a zone guy. He'll play zone on one side, man on the other side. He'll do what he has to do to use the best, the best out of. You see with Mr. Trubisky in the game, these Bears wide receivers are finally getting targets. There's no points on the board, but they're finally getting plays going their way. Yeah, the reason we're playing that zone is because he doesn't trust these corners. Yeah, and Gano almost missed both of those field goals he kicked, but luckily he made them. They were like right on the edge. I was like, I guess he's coming off of it, being sick. So, but I'm just glad he made all of his field goals because if he didn't make his field goals, if Colt McCoy if that dude would have caught that interception, Colt McCoy would have thrown, we might be singing a completely different tune. We'd be talking about our quarterback being hurt and losing to the Bengals. We were supposed to be playing the worst quarterback that week, but the Broncos, they started the practice squad wide receiver at quarterback. 1 for 9 for like, I don't know how many yards, like 6 yards or something. I don't remember. That's what I'm saying. We have a decent pass rush, I'd say, but it's not there at the end of these halves. It's not there at the end of these games. It showed up today, which was amazing, but this is also the worst offensive line in the league, in my opinion. But yeah, I feel you, man. I would love to just go out there, throw Caleb Farley out there across from Bradbury and just man up people. Just man people up for the entire game. And you got to think that Darnay Holmes will get better. Yeah, I mean, it happens, man. It happens. It happens, Max. I mean, first off, Joe Judge, you got to imagine that he's involved in the special teams, but Tom McGahee or McGahee, I don't know how you pronounce it because it's an AU, but he's been our special teams coach since last year, and we've been pretty strong in those areas. So, I mean, people just have bad days. They'll have to correct it. As long as it doesn't turn into a trend, I think we're okay there. They've been a strength of the team pretty much the entire season. They haven't let us down, so. Yeah, Cincinnati always does something on specials. Yeah, he wasn't awful, but we should have had. I'll tell you, we should have had at least 2 more interceptions against him. But the Bengals, man, I'm just glad that we got out of there with the win. That would have been a bad loss. And can you believe I've seen Eagles fans on Twitter talking trash about us beating the Bengals? Like, didn't you tie with this team? I mean, I know they had Joe Burrow, but come on, you're the Eagles. I really do too. I mean, we'll see. I think if he goes against the Seahawks, he'll obviously not be the running threat that he is, which is part of his game at this point. But he might play against Seattle. And Seattle's defense is horrible. I thought that Jones would eventually. I thought that he would go out and get like 4 touchdowns against Seattle. So instead, I really, man, you guys don't understand. I really do not want to see. I really do not want to see Colt McCoy out there. Like I just never want to see that dude play quarterback for the Giants. Once Colt McCoy got in there and started chopping his feet real fast and tried to throw a screen and missed the screen. I mean, I think he ended up completing the screen pass behind the line of scrimmage to Gallman, and he lost like 5 yards because he threw it so far behind him. At that point, I was done with him. I think Gallman is the perfect running back for this offense. I think Saquon was the perfect running back for Patrick Shermer's system. But we'll see. I mean, Gallman is going to be, he's probably going to be more effective than Saquon could be in this offense. Like, of course, using Saquon as somebody to dump it off to and let him get 50 yards and hurdle somebody and juke this person and spin past this person. He always has the potential to score, but Gallman is just probably consistently more effective, and he probably helps out his quarterback more because he's not going to be in second and third and long. And that's just being honest. Now, if we started to use Saquon like they use Alvin Kamara, then Saquon is perfect. But Jason Garrett isn't creative. So at this point, I'd be just open to trading them or letting them walk because we don't use them right. And we don't have like the best offensive line in the league that's going to allow him to jump around like Le'Veon Bell did with the Steelers, who kind of runs a little bit like Saquon, where they take their time picking the hole. They don't just get straight up the field. Absolutely not. You can keep Leonard Fournette there. And that's coming from an LSU fan. You can keep Leonard Fournette right over there. Wayne Gallman runs like how Leonard Fournette used to run. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to Leonard Fournette, but Wayne Gallman runs like how Leonard Fournette runs, how he used to run. I think my pro comparison for Wayne Gallman coming out was DeMarco Murray. They both run straight up like that. I like his running style. No, you can keep Leonard Fournette, man. I don't need that dude anywhere over here. Keep him away from Daniel Jones. I mean, a lot of Giants fans, if Daniel Jones misses 2-3 weeks, you're going to see what it looks like when you put Colt McCoy in, because they were begging to put Colt McCoy in all this time. So they're going to see what it looks like when you put him in. Now, like I said, I mean, I kept it real from the jump. If you were going to try to upgrade a quarterback and we had the number one pick because people thought that our team was so bad that we would have the number one pick, then you take Trevor Lawrence. You don't think about it. But this team they're not going to even have the number two pick. So what are you going to do? You're going to go out and sign some journeyman quarterback to get probably the similar production of Daniel Jones and at the beginning of his second year. You'll probably get similar protection. Similar production. But I just wanted to see us run that option with Saquon. Like when Saquon gets in the game, they would rather just give up wide open touchdowns and they'll rather give up anything but to let Saquon run the ball. So I just want to see him come back and let us run the option with him. But you got to think when he comes back that Saquon will split carries. He's going to have to give up more of those carries to Wayne Gallman. You said Andrew Thomas is upsetting? Andrew Thomas had a good game today. He's been getting better every week. The offense was horrible. Like anybody that looked at any kind of tape, you would see that the entire offense, there was nowhere for him to throw the ball. On Daniel Jones's interceptions toward the beginning of the season, there was actually, if you look at this, Daniel Jones actually started off the season effective, went into a lull, and then is bounced back. But towards the beginning of the season, there was like all of the receivers were running 10-yard comebacks, standing in the same spots. They were standing in the same spots, and there was nowhere to throw the ball. And young Daniel Jones in his second year and a new offense was forcing it to no one's open, so he's just forcing it to somebody. That's what was happening with Evan Ingram. It was a little 8-yard curl route, and Daniel Jones would force it to him, and it'd get tipped up and intercepted. It happened like 3 or 4 times. And it doesn't help that Evan Ingram couldn't catch the ball on those comebacks. So, and then you still see it. They bring all of the receivers and all of the tight ends inwards into the line of scrimmage before they run most of the time. Like they bring the entire offense, all 11 players, right onto the line of scrimmage, like they're all offensive linemen before he runs most times. I don't know what's going on with Jason Garrett, man. He runs curls and slants, and he's had plays where there's no one working down the field. There's no one working more than 8 yards down the field. Like it just doesn't work. You're seeing it right now with Tom Brady has all of these receivers and they can't get open because you got Bruce Arians running all streaks and all curls. Like that's not going to work. The defense gets paid too. And that's why, the Jordan Renan news where he came out and he was talking trash about Giants YouTubers. I guarantee you that if a Giants YouTuber was in that press conference, they'd ask Jason Garrett, why are you running 5 curl routes at once and not spacing the field? Why are you bringing wide receivers in as your lead blockers to block defensive linemen on short yardage run plays? And Jason Garrett didn't even change anything in the run game. Caden Smith just got better at blocking. He's just blocking out of this world. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we if one of those top two corners aren't there when we pick, then I want a wide receiver because that's just where our value meets need. Because the receiving class at the top of this draft is amazing. So whatever we take, if we make the playoffs, if DJ comes back next week and we make the playoffs, then we could take any of those receivers at like 19 or 20 or whatever, and I'd be fine. Greg Rousseau, I don't really like. I don't like him. I don't like him as a prospect, so I don't think he's worth the first round pick. So the pass rusher you're not going to get. So at that point, you got to go corner or receiver. And then a lot of people want us to take Michael Parsons. I don't want to take an inside linebacker in the top 10. That's ridiculous to me. Yeah, I went back and I saw that Renan thing. I actually listened to his podcast. He said that he was talking mostly about Instagram pages that repost his tweets and don't give him credit. But you just got to phrase that better. I mean, listen, you just got to phrase it better. I'm pretty sure Allen Robinson is going to be a free agent, but I think I just checked and he's a free agent next offseason. So I wanted Allen Robinson because I was sure that he was a free agent this offseason, but he's not. But yeah, that's the type of receiver I want. I think Devontae Smith is the most like Allen Robinson as far as a big, tall, wide receiver that's fast. So Devontae Smith is probably my number one guy, but I doubt that he'll be there. I think he's going to be someone that may be too. I think he's a teens kind of receiver, and I think we'll be taking it like 19 if we make the playoffs and inside the top 10 if we don't. So, yeah, Juju is a good option, but I don't want to pay that dude like 19 million a year to be a slot receiver, and we already got one. I'm pretty happy with Shep at that position. I say he's a little bit better because he can play outside, but he does his best work in the slot. But yeah, I think we'll be okay. If we can get DJ back within 2 weeks, I really want to see him against the Cardinals. You guys don't understand. The Cardinals fans have been on my page all off season, all season until DJ stopped. Once we start winning games and DJ stopped turning the ball over, the Cardinals fans all disappeared. Once they started losing games like they're losing, they disappeared. So I really want to see these guys in 2 weeks. I really want him to be healthy, and I want him to be able to run in that game. So hopefully that's a really minor tweak, or else I'm going to be really angry. Yeah, he can play outside, so like I said, that's a plus. But I'd rather go for I wanted a big outside fast wide receiver or just someone who's so fast that it doesn't matter how tall he is because he's just running past. Like, I'd take Jalen Waddle. He's not necessarily what I want, but I would take Jalen Waddle. Or I'd even take a wide receiver that's not as fast, but is just big enough to make all those contested catches. Like Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams. Those kind of receivers are number one guys, but they're not the fastest in the league. I think last week, not last week, but last year, we couldn't afford to take a receiver in that first round. We couldn't afford it at all because we didn't have an offensive tackle, and the pass rush, like as far as Chase Young, we probably wouldn't have been able to afford passing him. But the thing is, this year we almost have to take wide receiver or corner. And the crazy thing, think about this: we wouldn't even have to be taking corner if DeAndre Baker didn't get into that situation. We'll see how he ends up playing when he comes back, but we shouldn't even have to be taking a corner. So at that point, it brings you back to, can you really fire Dave Gettleman? Can you really justify that at all? Because we shouldn't even have to be taking a corner right now. We'll see how McKinney plays. So if he's any good, then we're set at both safeties. Even if he's not, Logan Ryan is number one at free safety in Pro Bowl voting. We're solidified at safeties. We would have been solidified at corner. All we're missing is the edge rusher, second corner, and a dominant wide receiver. Like if somehow Devontae Adams gets cut and the Giants just say we're going to go sign Devontae Adams, then our receiving core is completely complete. Like it's over. If DeAndre Hopkins comes to the Giants, we're complete. Like at that point, there's almost no holes because I'm comfortable with the offensive line going forward. I'm comfortable with Matt Parrott starting the right tackle next year. I'm comfortable with Lemieux coming in and starting at right guard next year. And just think if Gettleman just takes one of those receivers last year, instead of, I'd have to look back to see what he took instead of the receivers. But if he just takes one of those that ended up panning out, we're in a really good spot. Yeah, Pepper's contract is coming up soon, so they might move on from him. But McKinney can also play deep safety. I think he's probably the best at playing kind of in that Peppers role. But I think he can play with Peppers too. I think he can play that deep safety. He did it a lot at Alabama. And they also want guys that can do everything. And I think he can really do everything. I don't think Logan Ryan is the best box safety. But I think that McKinney can play that box safety as good as, if not better than Peppers. And I think he can also play that deep safety. Because I mean, at that point, if we get a receiver, we get some kind of outside pass rusher this offseason, we get a corner in the draft. I mean, what can you say our needs are? What can you really say that our needs are? Because maybe inside linebacker. If DJ isn't elevating the team, then it's a quarterback, but I think he's going to keep getting better. Saquon will be there, so you can't say running back. Even if he's not, Wayne Gallman is doing a good job at there right now. At that point, everything that's a need becomes a luxury position. We're missing at such crucial positions that it's made our team not as good. But yeah, the thing is the money. I say Dave Gettleman hasn't done a bad job coming in here building up what Jerry Reese left him. I say it's not as bad as it looks. Yeah, Zeitler, I'm pretty sure is going to be gone. We just can't afford it. Like he's still, in my opinion, our best offensive lineman, but we just can't afford him. We just can't. We're not going to be able to afford him and make any kind of move in the offseason, including retaining our own defensive guys. Logan Ryan, you got to think is going to be 8 to 10. Leonard Williams, we already discussed. He's probably going to be at least 16, 17. That's with the discount. And we don't have much cap space because everything got cut. What's going on, Clutch? But we don't have much cap space. So you also got Saquon coming up in a couple years if you want to bring him back. That's a discussion. We also got Evan Ingram coming up. What if he finally is consistent next year? I'm always giving this dude second, third, fourth, sixth chances. But what if Evan Ingram is consistent next year? We got to bring him back. What if Jabril Peppers he's probably going to make the Pro Bowl this year, maybe. If not, I think he's having a Pro Bowl caliber year. What if he comes back next year, has another year like this, then we're going to have to pay him. So we got to get out of this. We got to get out of some people. Some people's contracts just aren't going to work. Yeah, hopefully DJ will be back next week. He probably won't be able to run, but hopefully he'll be back. I think he might be back a little sooner than people expected. Yeah, I know what you mean. There's times where I want Ingram gone, but listen, where else are you going to find a tight end? I mean, you may be able to find it. There's a couple of them, but there's not that many that's gonna be able to make the kind of plays that he made today. And I understand to think about having to pay this dude any kind of money, it makes you just say like he's got to go. But those plays, we'd also be. Evan Ingram has hurt the team a lot, and he's probably lost us maybe one or two games. But just think about he's made plays. He's made plays for us too. He's made a lot of plays, and he's gotten a lot of attention for us. Like he gets some people open because they have to pay attention to him. Like Evan Ingram, I just can't seem to hate him because he's not like Eric Flowers. He's not like Eric Flowers where he's playing horribly and then he just blames the fans and then he puts his Instagram comments on uh, locked so people can't comment. He's a likable person. When you see him saying he's got to go to work, he's like you believe him. When he makes a bad play, you can tell it really hurts. Like so, he's not a guy I can really get behind hating for more than a couple of days. But if he keeps on making these plays, then they won't bring him back. They're definitely not going to pay him double digits if he's not going to be able to consistently make Easy catches. Yeah, I mean, he may end up going to the Bengals, and because this is what I'm saying, I can already imagine Evan Ingram going to another team after he leaves the Giants, which he probably will after his contract. But I can imagine him leaving the Giants and going to some team and having like 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, because he's got all the talent. Yeah, the Bucks will probably end up playing the NFC East team. We don't know yet. Uh, we'll figure out when we get to that road. But hopefully DJ will be ready because I don't. I'd rather see DJ not being able to run and just watch him stink up the joint. You know, have injured than to have to watch Colt McCoy shuffle his feet like that again. That just, oh man, I don't ever want to see anybody shuffle their feet like that at the quarterback position. Yeah, I know what you mean, Giant opinion. I believe you. I really believe you because Evan Ingram at the beginning of last year, the way he was performing, where he was getting like he was on pace for like 1,000 something yards. It was hard to say that he wasn't a tight end, top five tight end. But you know, the dude who hurts the team. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. King Tone, you don't understand. I know you saw that. I know you all saw that when Colt McCoy got in there and shuffled his feet for like 3 seconds in the pocket where there was no pressure, and then almost threw an interception. At that point, I just didn't want. I just don't want to see that. And then they got him running. Like I don't want to see him running the option. I don't want to see it. All we need is what all this team needs for this offense to go is a serious number one wide receiver to where the other teams are staying up planning and they're saying, how are we going to guard this dude? How many people are we going to put on him? I was the person who made the mistake of thinking that that kind of presence will be the combination of Slayton and Ingram, but it wasn't enough still. Yeah, but like I said, you can't without Evan Ingram today. Evan Ingram made a bad play today. He fumbled today, but without Evan Ingram, we don't win the game. We don't win the game at all today. So, like I said, I can't say that he's a bad player. I say that he lets the moment get to his head way too much, and he's prone to making mistakes at that point. Exactly, and he's been misused for most of the year. Because in Pat Shermer's system, he was at least he was open a lot. The only issue we had with Ingram was that he couldn't stay healthy. That was the only issue. Like all my Ingram videos this offseason, everybody was excited. They said all we need is for him to stay healthy. But we don't. The thing is with Barkley, we can get him. Barkley can run exactly like Wayne Gallman. He can do the exact same thing. He can hit the hole faster, and he could make his moves when he gets into the second level. But at the same time, those 70, 80-yard runs are going to disappear. They may still be there, as far as getting up the field sometimes. But at the same time, those runs that maybe should be 1 or 2 yards that he'll turn into 20, 30, 40 yards, they're going to be gone. Which is it's just like Barry Sanders. You pick your poison. I mean, you take your medicine because you're saying some point in this game he's going to break this run that's supposed to be for a yard or it's supposed to be for -2 yards if he just gets up the field. That's going to go for 70 yards. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Giant Opinion Sports. Like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not necessarily like I won't be angry if we let Evan Ingram go because he's caused a lot of issues. But I'm also saying I understand the other side, and I'm definitely not a fan of paying this dude to where he has expectations because it seems that expectations for him make him not perform. Evan Ingram seems like he should go to the Chiefs and replace Travis Kelce when he gets older, or go to some place where he can be the fifth option or something where he's not expected to do anything because he doesn't seem like he deals with pressure very well. And that's why at this point I'm a fan of using Saquon as like 65% of the carries go to Saquon, the other percentage goes to Wayne Gallman, and then the a lot of the other times you're just throwing screens to Saquon. You got him lining up at receiver because he's a mismatch nightmare. If you don't use him like to his strength as a receiving back, as a receiver, as a weapon, then there's no point in keeping him. You need to trade him ASAP. Yeah, Ingram is accident prone. He drops a lot. He fumbled today. I think he fumbled another time this season. So yeah, I get what you're saying, man. I definitely do. But with Saquon, we got to get somebody in here quick that knows how to use him, or somebody that can help Jason Garrett use him. Because if we're not going to use him, if we're just going to run this kind of offense where we're going to try to use Saquon like Ezekiel Elliott when they're not the same back, not one better or not better or worse than the other, but they're different backs. You need to use Saquon like they use Christian McCaffrey. You need to use him like they use Alvin Kamara. If you're not, then you don't need him. And paying him is ridiculous because you don't pay someone like that just to play running back. Like you don't pay someone 17 million or whatever, how much he's going to ask for. You don't pay someone 17, 18 million to play running back and not be able to consistently establish the run. You pay him for everything he can bring to the team. which is a lot if you can actually use him that way, which shows that he was a luxury and maybe he shouldn't have been taken with the number 2 overall pick. And this isn't me saying that we need to dump Saquon, we got to get rid of him. I'm just saying we need to figure out how to use him because handing the ball off to him 25 times uh, in a Cowboys style offense where you're expecting him to just make one cut and get up the field, that's not his game. That's not what he does. Yeah, if we're keeping Garrett, then Saquon doesn't, he's not, his only value is going to be in the screen game and in the option game. Of course, he'll still make his plays because he's that good of a player, but that's he's going to have to go somewhere else if he wants to be used to his potential. I wouldn't be surprised. Listen. I'll only say it once, but I would not be surprised if Saquon leaves the Giants and goes to the Cardinals, and Cliff Kingsbury uses him how he's supposed to be used, and he's running the option with Kyler Murray, and they're running all over the league. I would not be surprised. And he's really good at that. Giant opinion, he was really good at just getting up the field. He's really good at getting up the field and being explosive and like I think that he could easily be Ezekiel Elliott. I think he could be a lot of these top tier running backs, but I don't want him playing like that consistently. I, I just I just think we need a different system to fit him. Like we need Pat Shermer's system. We need someone that's going to move him around. Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, it's kind of ironic because Saquon is injured right now, but you would expect Saquon to have a longer career because he doesn't run into the pile. He doesn't, he's not going 100%. Like I'm gonna get every single yard. I'm gonna ram into the pile and make sure I get every single inch. So that's a positive, but at the same time, it just makes it harder for your quarterback. It does. It makes it harder on your quarterback because sometimes he sometimes there's a tiny crease where you can hit that crease and carry that pile forward and get like 3 4 yards, but he won't hit it because he's saying, what if I bounce this out and I get 60 yards for a touchdown? Like Saquon, maybe behind this offensive line, Saquon might have. I mean, I know for a fact Saquon will have more yards than what they have now. Maybe he has a Pro Bowl year, but at the same time, there are going to be so many more third and 12s, first and 12s, first and 13s. Those have been gone. Like they haven't been there. And yes, that's because of the offensive line, but it's also because of the running style. We have all running backs that as soon as they touch it, they're getting straight up the field, even if they're running into the offensive lineman's back. Like we're consistently in third and 3, third and 4, the things that kill our drives now are like holding calls. Yeah, I definitely think Giant Opinion Sports, when he came back, he adjusted his running style. This year, you couldn't blame anything on him. This year, he couldn't go anywhere. And that first game against the Steelers, they completely collapsed every play down on Saquon. So he didn't have anywhere to run this year. Like I said, I'm not turning on Saquon. I don't even want him to leave the team. I'm just saying we need to figure out how to use him, because Jason Garrett is trying to use him like he's Ezekiel Elliott, like he's Derrick Henry, and that's not his running style. And that's not getting the most out of him as a player. Like maybe I got to give Jason Garrett some more time with Saquon, but from what I saw, he wasn't using him the way that I would like him to be used. He's using him as if he's a north-south guy, and that's not his game. I'm not saying that he's a bad player because of it. I'm just saying he's not a one-cut guy, which has its pros and cons. Like I think Saquon's first uh first touchdown run against the Jaguars or something last year, or his not his last year, but his first year, he like juked somebody out behind the line of scrimmage, and then he made a decision to juke somebody else out, and it ended up turning into a touchdown. Mr. Trubisky just fumbled it, man. But he made a decision to make an extra juke, which got him a touchdown. Wayne Gallman, he gets probably like 6 yards on that play, but Saquon gets 30 yards and a touchdown. And yeah, that's exactly what I was saying, Giant Opinion Sports. They were crowding the box and they were daring us to throw the ball. And then they were covering our defenses. Like they were literally crowding the line of scrimmage with like most of their guys. And then there was no threat of Daniel Jones keeping the ball because we hadn't put the option in our playbook for some weird reason. They just crashed down every single play on Saquon. They played every single play. They played every single play like that on Saquon, which is kind of that's a whole different fight for me because a lot of Giants fans were trying to blame that on Saquon, which wasn't his fault at all. As Mr. Trubisky throws another interception, but yeah, they played every single play like Saquon was like they didn't give him a chance at all. If we were going to win that game, it was going to be completely because of Daniel Jones and not because we ran the ball. Now, if Daniel Jones would have kept the ball a couple of times on those options, he'd probably have run for a kind of Eagle style 80-yard touchdown because they did not pay attention to anything but Saquon. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know if you're arguing with me or you're arguing with Cruzon, but basically what I'm saying is if we want to keep Saquon, we're gonna have to get the most out of him. And it seems like Jason Garrett is not able to do that. I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree that if Saquon was on the team, we probably win the Eagles game. We probably win that Cowboys game. I definitely think we probably win both of those close. I definitely, yeah, I think Bad Dog hates Saquon. He doesn't hate Saquon, but he hated a pick. But I think if Saquon was on the team, we win the Eagles and Cowboys game because he's always gotten yards against the Cowboys. Have you seen the Cowboys rushing defense this year? I think we'd have two extra wins, definitely. It's definitely been a factor that he's been gone. I mean, listen, that's what people are going to do. People are going to complain about people will complain about things until it's gone. I'm pretty sure a lot of Giants fans wanted to take Sam Darnold. A lot of Giants fans wanted Sam Darnold. A lot of Giants fans lie and say that they wanted Josh Allen. Me personally, I wanted either Saquon or Quentin Nelson because Quentin Nelson was the best offensive line that I had. He's the best offensive lineman I've ever seen play in college. Now it's not like I'm like 80 years old, but I've been scouting offensive linemen for probably the last 5, 6 years. So he's the best one I've seen by far. All right, man. Hey, have a good one. But other than Quentin Nelson, I mean, I didn't really like any of those quarterbacks last that year. So maybe I was wrong about Josh Allen. Maybe I was wrong about Lamar Jackson. But to me, it was between Quentin Nelson and Saquon. I know Ron Effect, back when he was making videos, he was the number one Saquon cheerleader. Like he was saying, we need to take Saquon above all else. Yeah, Cruz on. Yeah, I understand what you mean. It was kind of a luxury pick, but it's just it just depends how you use them, in my opinion. I just think we got to get an offensive mind in here. Yeah, he made a whole music video. Yeah, the Packers are destroying the Bears. This is what we should have done to the Bengals today, but whatever. Ron effect, he really wanted Saquon on the team. I listen. I still think that Saquon would be the best back in the league. Derrick Henry is the only person that has made me kind of think about that. But yeah, I mean, I miss Saquon's production because I feel like he give us some more wins because of his plays that he makes that are great. But at the same time, it's kind of refreshing to see him to see Wayne Gallman get 7 yards out of a 1 yard run because he just kept his legs turning. Definitely. Saquon was the most entertaining player in the league until I saw Lamar Jackson last year. But he was the most entertaining player to me. It's between him and Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. All of those guys are entertaining, but Barkley's definitely up there. But I'm telling you, man, imagine if we got to see DJ and Saquon running this option. But yeah, I think we're on like a just over hour and a half. I think I'm gonna dip out of here. Uh, yeah, I think I'm just gonna get out of here because I'm on probably around 5 hours of streaming in total today. So hopefully DJ comes back. Hopefully it's soon. Hopefully he can run. But enjoy the win. We got 4 solid weeks in a row of winning. So that's good. But I'll be back tomorrow with a video. And hopefully we never have to see Colt McCoy play another game in a Giants uniform again. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we had someone who knew how to use Saquon, we'd be better. But yeah, thanks to everybody that came in the stream. Thanks for everybody that liked the video, that liked the stream. And I'm going to go ahead and dip out of here.